All right, welcome back, guys. Another day, another episode of Pill Break and Fix. We had a pretty good episode yesterday when the principal developer from Seek, Andre Gek, joined us for a live Q&A where a lot of you guys joined in as well. We had a pretty good response, and a lot of people appreciated it otherwise after the stream as well. So we are pretty positive after that, and we are looking forward to the next guests as well. So before that, we were working on our middleware as well, and as I can recall, we were pretty close to getting it done. Though it's been a while, we've been working on that, probably more than a week, but hopefully we can get it done today, or else we need to get it done offline for sure. So by tomorrow, that's something which would be done in this project. So yeah, today we'll focus on that. Zen, what do you have to say?
That was brilliant. Yeah, I just wanted to give you and the viewers a bit of a surprise. I kept it
Green screen.
to
Green screen.
announce it. Hey?
Green screen.
No, no, it's
Internet.
better than that. It's better than
Internet.
that.
New internet.
It's even better than that.
New laptop. No way.
It's even better than that.
New Zen.
Okay, not as good as that.
Uh, you got AWS creds. Uh,
Uh, no.
you got a
Okay, so
new guest.
no.
Damn it. What is it?
You gave up?
I mean, I can keep going. Oh, you got it working. Oh, yeah. Nice.
Well, not me. Not me. So the original persons whose issue this was, and we were just helping him. He finally got it working.
Ooh,
So yeah, which was really amazing because I just got to know it this evening as well. So he has already committed the code on your repo, so we're gonna be analyzing what he
right.
did that we missed on and learn from that code.
Oh, all right. Okay, that
Brilliant.
is amazing for sure.
Yeah. Okay. So I'll just do the test first to show
Yeah.
you, and then we can carry on
Did,
as in analyzing
did you pull the code
everything.
already?
Yes,
Nice.
already done. Um, so this one is there, and if I go to that one, home,
Mm-hmm.
all right. Testing board on stream. Okay, that goes to the board. So if I
Right.
now get DynamoDB
Mm-hmm.
and go to tables, and then when it loads, go
All
to
right.
the table itself.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Nice. That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So obviously this is working, but it still causes issues on the spaces, but that we can get rid of. But that's not really the main issue. The main thing was that it wasn't coming from the front end, but now that is
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah.
All right.
That's cool.
Um. By the way, have you got water or not?
No, it's
There
empty.
you go.
Give me a second. I'll
Okay, guys, let's check how the board, as in what the person whose original issue this was fixed there, and we missed out on that code. So let's check that one. So this I'm gonna actually what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna compare it to the previous version, right? And that way we can keep track of what was changed and what was not. All right. Padding. So this one. Okay, cool. So what changed was, yeah, this is the middleware that we were working on. So this was the same. All right. Yeah, function go. This one was the same as well. So, right. So he had it. Okay, so he just calling it, which we don't really have to at the moment. Uh, but oh, so he's calling it in the go function call, and
Wait for me. Wait for me. What?
huh?
Wait for me. I want to analyze it as well.
Yeah, I was just bringing it as in on
Yeah.
the screens so we can
Right.
compare from code and to code.
Right. Deal.
Alright, so I'll just do that and make it bigger so you can see as well. Are you able
Mm-hmm.
to now?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Alright, brilliant.
Go.
So this,
Yeah.
huh?
Go function looks the same.
No, it doesn't.
Oh, it's calling. Oh, right.
Is
That makes more
is-
sense.
yeah, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Instead of giving in that other JavaScript file two functions, we are just calling one, and in that one, the board post name is being called,
Hmm.
which is fair enough. Yeah, I'd agree with that. And then
We
he's
made this our
giving,
asynchronous function, which is
as
probably
in,
what we didn't do.
yeah. And then he was passing the board name as a parameter,
Okay.
and then what I did was, okay, he made it await. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
we missed that. Um, you're right. That so he's passing calls as well. Interesting.
Don't know how that works.
Apparently, yeah.
I mean,
And
remember when we tried doing cores, it worked. It's just that
yeah, yeah.
it's just control allow origin should be all.
Hmm. And this line was stops it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
If we don't have that, then we get the cause error. Okay, and then he's basically just stringifying the board name here
Mm-hmm.
as an object,
Yeah.
and then he's oh, okay. So on the result, so he's doing everything here, but then on the result,
Yeah.
he's going to the next page in index.html. Right.
Okay.
Uh-huh. And then going to the index.html and then returning. Yeah, yeah, this
So
was
he
our code.
parsed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Right. This is what we did.
Yeah, yeah. He just basically added the missing bits on top of our code.
Hmm.
And then he also did uncommented the get boards function as well. Right,
I
yeah,
think he
that's
changed
basically it.
a bit.
Huh?
He changed get bored a bit because now it's good that it's returning JSON. First, it was just returning a text. Oh wait, no, never mind. It's
No,
the same.
it's the same.
Yes, that's it.
He just made it to come on more lines.
Yeah, yeah. I didn't see the JSON thingy. Cool.
Right.
It's pretty cool.
That's fantastic.
I would have been more excited. I'm
Right.
just a bit, but this is actually pretty cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Nice. Let's.
Um, Ansh Lufrog, hello mate, how you doing? Welcome. And Pranav, y- welcome mate. You're already feeling sleepy, huh?
Oh, these are my friends.
Oh, okay, cool.
Oh my boy. Okay. What I'll do is I'll go and pull this. I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
pull this one, but it's in a different branch. So
Uh,
I'm gonna it's in the branch called
middle something. I know. I know the branch.
middleware. I mean,
It's
at the
called.
end it's called postboard.
Wait.
It's
Oh, I just realized something bad. Never mind. Actually.
what happened?
No, nothing. Nothing. It's nothing important. Middleware implementation.
No, it's the one called padding working post board name.
Try seeing my screen. I can't find it.
Try what?
See my screen. I can't find it.
Uh, you're on Git branch main. What? Middle branch? Do the entire command again.
It branch. There you go. Send stuff.
Don't do -a.
All right. You just ask me for an attribute.
Probably Git Why are you only seeing two branches?
Hmm.
Ah, I
You're
think it
seeing a lot of
might be.
branches.
But if you do Git branch, you're only seeing two branches, main and middleware implementation.
Yeah, isn't that what's supposed to happen when it shows the main and the current branch?
It should show you all the branches.
For
Or
all
it might.
branches, minus a.
Really?
Yeah, pretty sure.
Okay. Okay. Because if I'd. In which branch are you at the moment?
Middleware implementation.
Okay, so go to main branch.
Okay. Let's see. Git status. And origin main. Git branch. NSA. And I'll just do. Okay. Now that's weird. Oh, because I haven't pulled the other branches.
Oh, here we go then. Probably.
Hmm.
You hang on a minute.
Did I pull
Try
them?
to switch. Try to switch to
Won't be able to.
middleware underscore implementation
I can
underscore.
because that's already on pulled, so I can do that. But I can't. Oh my days.
Come on, Karthik, wake up.
There you go.
No, no, I meant okay. I
Which one?
meant get checkout middleware underscore implementation underscore board underscore no 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 middleware underscore post underscore board.
Okay.
Ah,
Can I get pull it?
actually, just to it's I just told you the wrong name, my bad. It's middleware underscore implementation underscore post underscore board.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a bit of a big name.
The branch name, implementation, post, board or
Board.
board name. Okay.
Board.
Implementation spelling is right. Okay. Nope. I'll just pull it. I mean, I have to pull it anyway. So fetching.
Egg on right to set a sip. Uh, is
Hey,
it not
Andrea.
doing it for you?
Now I'll just pull. That's
That's
all I'm gonna do.
interesting.
Already up to date.
And now try to find it.
Yeah, 1 second. Branch. Okay.
Ah, here
Yeah,
we
there you
go.
go. See, I had to pull
Second
it.
last one. Probably.
Alright, check
That must
out.
have been the case. Don't check out. Just switch to it for now.
Alright. Middleware underscore
Just
implemented.
copy and paste it.
Now, and I need to work on my typing as well. So
Okay,
it's
cool.
fine. Alright.
Full name. Yeah. And now
Click
seed into it, and now you can do
contact
it.
minus m simple http server. Come on, buddy. Oh, my quiz is open. Oh, and maybe rejects. All right, let's do this. Console the favor icon. I don't care. Copy testing here. Okay,
Yeah.
let's open the endpoint. Right. Yeah, that
Brilliant.
works.
There we go.
Are we gonna get rid of these things afterwards?
Yeah. I don't really want to focus on
Yeah, that's
these
fine.
tiny bits.
Yeah, because these things are gonna like. Pretty sure there are other ways you can like kind of put in stuff in DynamoDB which is not string friendly. So we'll
Yeah.
have to figure it out
True.
anyway afterwards.
Yeah. Cool. If you can go to Jira now, and we need to update the issues over there. We haven't really been doing it, as in for
Mhm.
the past few.
Yeah, that's
uh,
true. We should do that. Wow, my internet is slow today. Oh,
because you cleared the cache.
that's
Just
true.
add board name in database is done.
Okay, let's do
We
this
have done the
down.
testing as well. Yeah,
Yeah. Oh boy.
we've, we've done the testing. Don't
Yeah,
worry
yeah.
about it.
I did it by mistake.
Ah, okay.
Signed. All right.
Okay, make the backend talk to the front end. So that's working. Yeah,
This is done.
that's done. So can you, yeah, done. Perfect. Okay,
Mm,
post a note from the front end to the
mm.
back end. Okay, cool.
Wait. We have done
Um,
one. We've done one more. We did a gets. We did get all boards. We need to do get
yeah.
specific.
hmm
Do you want to do post only
I,
or do you want to do get?
I think let's finish the board operations first from
All
the
right.
front end, and then we can move on to the notes one as well. All right.
Very
So right now we need to get the specific board from the front end to the uh from the back end to the front end. I'm just thinking how will this work?
First, we'll write function get board name, I guess. How about that as a
No,
start?
no, no. Hang on. Okay, this is this is not how it works in real world, man. Come on, come on.
Yeah, no, I'm just writing the function. Yeah.
Uh, you're very excited, huh? To move
But
on, I can tell. Okay. So how it would work? That first 4 week, we kind of have to make a design and then an approach. So the design that's coming on top of my head would be um
so I guess like literally the board name which the person passes is here. We take that and get it from the board because you're only gonna display one board at a time. Like
yeah,
if the person is opening a
absolutely.
board, that's just
Hmm.
like there's this board and we get it. We don't have to get multiple boards. So
Yeah.
if the person like we'll have a place where person will enter like previous boards, but that's for afterwards. So for
Hmm.
now, we can just get the board name from here.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
we'll change the front end afterwards, and we'll just change the text field. That's all we need to do. We'll get the board name from here. Go through the DynamoDB table like a query thing, which
Hmm.
we already have in the get
Hmm.
board name. I guess.
Hmm.
But the
Yeah.
only interesting thing is that in our API, we do it through the what do you call it? The URL. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. So
So do
why would
we
that be
still
an
want to,
interest? Hmm?
sorry?
Sorry, continue.
Yeah, so do we still want to do it with the URL? Like we do it with board ID. You know what I mean? If you have to get, let's say, this board with
Hmm.
our current API design, we go here. Wait a minute. Yeah, and we do this. That's right, right. And then we get the board.
Yeah, that's right. But instead of that, I think we would have to pass in the board name.
Yes. So that's. I feel like we need to add another function in the API. Sorry, controller.
Which takes in so when you mean the API, are you talking about the backend or the fetch API?
Express backend.
So backend. Um,
Or
board
contrary,
ID.
we can get the board with the board name from the URL, but then we'll have to go ahead and add it to the URL every time.
No, no, we're not. Uh, I don't think that would be a really efficient idea. What we might do is, you know how we are already getting the board, uh, getting a specific board.
Hmm.
What we might do is we will, um, you know how when we pass in the name of the board that we want to get from the DB,
Yeah.
we will pass it to the API, and then when it searches the database, it would actually search for that uh, board name, and then
Hmm.
wherever the corresponding ID of that object is, which is the board ID, it will take that into consideration. So essentially, the user will be interacting with the board name, but the DB will be but the API will be interacted with the board ID. So it will be the
Wait, wait, wait.
programming part. Hmm.
You have to tell me that again. You have to.
Okay, so
Yeah.
all right. So you know how we would have to pass a board name from the front end to get a specific board.
Yes.
Um, what I'm thinking that when we pass the board name to the API,
Mm-hmm.
okay,
Yeah.
then it will go in that method, okay, and then
Yeah.
it would we would have to create another method in the API which gets the corresponding board's ID only, and then we
Then
can take that ID and pass
yeah,
it in our existing get a board specific method. Does that?
right. But we still need to change that method because that method takes it from the URL, but we don't want to put like a big board ID in the URL. You know what I mean? Like this.
Yeah, yeah. So essentially, what this board ID will be as a it won't appear in the URL. It, it will be hidden.
Okay.
So when
So this is kind of what I'm thinking.
mhm,
What you're saying could be implemented as like in the code way that we make
okay.
two functions. One is get board
Uh,
ID. Um,
so when I say make an additional function, I mean to say make an additional function in the Express app.
yes, but to access those functions as well, you need to
Yeah,
create
yeah.
two fetch functions. One will be get board ID, which will match the board name with the board ID. Like you pass the board name and the express will give you, sorry, yeah, you pass the board name to the backend and that will return the board ID.
Mm-hmm.
Then that
Exactly.
function will go back to the original function, which is get board name, sorry, which is get board.
Board. Yeah,
Yeah, and that will pass the board ID to the Express app, and the
correct.
function which is already there, we'll just change up a bit of that function to not take it from the URL, but take it in the body,
Correct. Correct.
and then we'll return it back.
Yeah.
So I guess
Mm-hmm.
first we need to work on the backend, then only we can test the middleware.
Okay. So first thing is first, let's go back to our Jira, because
Right.
I want to actually break that task down into the specific steps that we have just discussed. So it's
Yeah,
a lot easier for us to keep track.
yeah. I'll do relates too because I can't create child tasks. Child tasks.
Oh, okay, cool. Right, right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
I'll create a get board ID function in the back end. Update the get specific
mhm.
specific board function in the back end. Create um, get board ID function in the middleware. Create a get board function in the middleware. Alrighty.
Can you just add a little bit more detail to the update get specific board function in the backend to take the info from the body?
Which one? Which one you want me to
Um,
update? Create.
the update the get specific board function. Yeah, that one.
Alright.
Just add a bit more description because yeah, it's a lot easier to write it when
Yeah.
when it's
Thinking. Yeah. Got
fresh in
it.
mind.
Take the code I yeah,
ID,
ID on the body. Um, when being called.
and this the board ID will be passed from our new function.
Yeah, one sec. Remove the part where it takes the code in the URL from the URL. And what did you say? Sorry.
When you from the and we need to pass the board ID from our new function to this function. So our new function will take in the board name from the front end, and then it will return us that corresponding board's ID. And then when it returns us that, we're going to use that board ID in
Mhm.
this function.
Mm, so for the same, I'm thinking we do that in the fetch, not in the backend. Like,
How will we do that in the fetch?
um, so you know how there's a, so you're thinking that the we'll pass information in the backend, like get board ID will pass information to get board. Is that what you're saying?
Say that again, please. I got a bit confused.
Yeah. So you know how there's a function get board ID in the backend, and there's a function called get
Yeah.
board in the backend.
Get board ID and get board.
There will be get board ID. Let's say it's
Okay.
already there.
Yeah. There will be get board name function. No, no, no.
No,
Sorry,
that will be
my
get
bad.
board ID.
Yeah. Get board ID. Yeah.
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 Uh, so what? This is what I'm thinking. What you're trying to say, that from the middleware we'll only call get board name, and from get board name we'll call get board ID. Is that what you're saying? Because
So
I'm
what
thinking
I
from,
just
yeah,
so what
same.
I just understood that according to you, what we're gonna do is we
Mhm.
will create.
I'm thinking that you are saying this. I have something else in mind.
Okay, so
Yeah,
if my understanding is right, um, for you understand from what I said is that
yeah.
um, we'll create one function in the fetch API that will be getBoard name, all right, and then another function in the backend which would be getBoard ID,
Hmm.
and then we will pass in the value from getBoard name in the fetch API to getBoard ID in the Express app.
Yeah.
And then when we have the board ID from the Express app's new function, then we will use that board ID in our existing function, which is already
Get bored.
taking the board ID.
Yes. So this is what
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking is that to do that you need to create two functions in the fetch. One would be correlating to getting the board ID. So when you got the board ID, you can internally call the get board name function, like this guy's done. He called the post board name from inside only, so that your backend isn't passing information.
Can you repeat the first part, as in the exactly first part you said?
Yes. Okay. Let's do this the proper way.
Okay.
I mean, it's not that hard though.
No, no, no. I wanted to do in this way as well, but then I don't have the as in free license of this Draw IO anymore. So I
All
was
right.
like, okay, we might as well do this. But seems you have it, so which is fantastic.
Yeah. Okay, buddy. Come on, login. Okay. Now, How do you create a doc? Cancel. Okay, I know what to do. I'll just create a
This should
document.
probably a flow chart. It's easier
Not
or
let me.
not. Yeah, cool. Right.
I'm just making a rough diagram.
Yeah, that's expected. Backend middleware.
I'll just finish
Maybe
the diagram and we can go
switch.
ahead and discuss it.
Okay, cool. Right.
Yeah. Oh, you want me to switch the sides? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Does
it's a bit
it-
easier if you bring
Yeah, I don't mind.
middleware on the left and backend
Wait,
on the right.
what difference does it make? Like, does it make like do people
So
in the
norm
see some
so
do that like
normally the sequence goes from left to
oh,
right. That's why.
right, right, okay, that makes
Hmm.
sense. Middleware has a get board, that's fine. Uh, ID this has a get board. Wait, mm, ooh, I know how to make class diagrams.
All right. So
I'm still making
for
it. I want to
Karthik,
make it.
yeah,
Yeah, one
I'm just
second.
I'm just talking to
Oh,
the viewers. You continue.
yeah.
Don't worry about me. Yeah. So what we're doing at the moment is we want to start a new piece of work, which is exciting times, and uh, instead of jumping right in the code, we're doing a bit of planning and the design first. We have already written down, as in we have already broken a big task into subtasks in Jira, which we will be showing after this one, just as a recap. But here what Karthik is doing is he's making a kind of a visual architectural diagram to represent how we're gonna implement the new feature, and also how will the data flow uh, between the functions, and how will the middleware and backend uh, sit in terms of talking to each other. That's all. So yeah, if you have got any questions, as in sure about something in general sense, feel free to comment, and we will try our best to answer all your questions. Right, so that's looking pretty good, Kay.
Just almost finishing it.
That's all right. It's important that we take more time and do it right than take less time and do a bad job.
Yeah.
Alright, so print. Um, it's
All right,
really fascinating when you as in bring all your thoughts onto paper and then
that's true.
just be amazed how much sense does it make and how much of a clear idea you can
Yeah,
get.
for sure. Right. Okay, so this is what I think
Yeah,
it's gonna happen. This is the middleware.
yeah.
Um, we'll go to the getBoard ID function. The getBoard ID
Which
function. Yeah.
so I just if you can also elaborate that if that particular function would be a new function or is already existing functions. So it
So
just
only this
makes a bit
function
more
is
clearer.
already existing. I'll mark it, but I think that's pretty obvious at this point. This function is the only function which is existing. Um,
Yeah,
rest of them are new.
cool. Yeah.
Second, Mac needs some juice.
Mm-hmm. Let's
Juice.
give it a high quality juice so it performs as a high quality, I mean high performance.
Yeah. Well, I don't want to spill soft drink or Red Bull on it, so
No, 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 you don't want to.
I can just give it electricity. That
Yeah.
helps. All right. Um, so these are all new functions. We'll
Mm-hmm.
go ahead and create them. Um,
All right,
in,
cool.
in a middleware, there's this function called getBoardID, which is gonna go to the backend and get the board ID from the backend. This is a new function as well. She's gonna go to the table, match the actually board name, just to make sure this board name is going through the body. But I'm pretty sure that's pretty clear because it's in the backend. It's not going
Mm-hmm.
as a function.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, this function is gonna just go ahead and match the board name in the database, and it's gonna return with the board ID. When this function has a board ID, it's gonna go ahead and in the middleware only, it's gonna call get board, like you know how we have done it here, like this. Then we'll go to get board with the board ID. Um, then
Hang
we
on.
go to the,
So from which part is it starting? Is it the
where?
get board ID from the right or the left?
What do you mean? Sorry.
So there are two get board I no 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 hang on.
I mean, you'll obviously start from the middleware, right? Like you can't start from the backend.
Of course, but
Yeah.
okay, yeah, that's fine because I think how we named these function is just confusing me a bit, but yeah, I've got the slight hang of it.
Right.
Continue.
I named them because of like consistency issues. Because right here also, like the function names are just literally same, like get and post. But we can
Yeah,
change the function names here. It's
that's
it's
fine.
pretty easy.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem at all.
Right.
Um,
So
right.
from here,
Continue.
when you get the board ID, in the get board function, you send it to this get board function, which is obviously gonna get the board ID, but in the body, um,
Hmm.
it'll go through the database, find for that particular board ID, and return the whole board in a JSON format. Let me clarify that this is gonna be in JSON. Make it small, make this bigger. That didn't make any difference. Anyway, yeah. So this is gonna return that in a JSON format, and we will live happily ever after. What do you say?
Right.
Will we-
Okay. So how I'm understanding it, that pretty much makes sense, but I just want to confirm my understanding so we both are on the same page.
Yeah.
Um, from the get board ID, when we get the get board from when we get the get board name from the front end to the middle way, it will go into get board ID, which doesn't accept any parameters, and then it will go into the backend to get the board ID by passing in the board name. Am I right?
Right. Yeah.
And then it will go back to the middleware. Why would it go back to the middleware?
I mean, the function is already in the middle where it has to return something, right? We are looking for the board ID.
Uh, to be honest, I don't think we need to go back to the middleware, because when we get the board when we get the board ID in the backend from the board name, we can go to the get board function, which accepts a board ID
In the
in the
backend only.
backend. Hmm.
So you're gonna
In the
like
backend.
that's what I'm saying. Like you're gonna call an internal function from the backend. Is that what you're trying to say?
What do you mean an internal function from the
Like
backend?
this function will call this function.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, right.
So essentially,
Yeah.
um, yes, that's exactly what I mean. That the function on the top of the backend will call the function on the bottom of the backend,
Right. Okay.
and
We can.
then once it's got the board ID from that existing function which is on the top, then we can pass that
Okay.
directly to the middleware.
So hear me out. That's there's a reason I kind of designed it this way. This way.
Okay.
You have heard about the terms like what do you call that thing? Cohesion and oh my god, what is low coupling. When it comes down to designing
Yeah, yeah.
code in general. So
Hmm.
when you go and call these two functions from a get board ID function,
Yep.
so let's say you have to use get board ID somewhere else as well in the whole architecture. Your this function is kind of wasted just for like not wasted, but like it's doing like it's handling two functions in the backend, but rather it could handle one function and this could handle one function, which breaks it down. That means that if you need to use get board ID once more, it will not go ahead and do this particular functionality. Rather, it'll just get the board ID, and then you can go ahead and like get board. You know what I mean? But rather, what you're trying to say right now is that if you do get board ID, it will get board ID, and then inside that it'll get the board as well. Like even if we rename as it get board, but like um it'll not be low coupled. Like if one of these functions break, the whole program will stop. But rather in this architecture, if let's say uh, get board isn't working, get board ID will still work because these two aren't um, communicating with each other. What do you say?
So basically, in that sense, you don't mind hitting the database 2 times,
Yeah, yeah. Until and unless
which
like the
is
functions are independent.
yeah, but the more we hit the database, the more it causes on the performance, which is
But
not really. Mhm.
aren't we hitting the database exactly the same number of times? Getting the board ID first and then getting the board. Doing that in two separate functions, still hitting the database twice. Even if we do it that way, it's still gonna go find the board ID, then it's gonna go again, get the board.
No, so what I'm actually trying to
Yeah.
say is that say visualize an anti-clockwise anti-clockwise rectangle. Okay, you, from what I'm understanding, you're saying that we go to the board ID in the middle way at the bottom, then go to the backend, board ID, board name, and then come back, and then go to the board ID in the middle way again, and then again hit the backend. Why are we going in that direction? As in, so say this,
Yeah,
this, this, and
I
then
can't,
this.
I
Oh,
consider this.
so in this way,
Which way?
okay? Th- I mean,
Oh,
I'm just
now. Yeah.
show. Oh, right, right, right. So in this way,
Yeah.
and then that way, okay?
Mm-hmm.
And then coming back, and then
That
coming back again. Why can't we do it as this, this, and then this? So instead of creating a D, why not do C?
right. Okay.
If, if
Yeah. I mean,
that's making sense?
yeah, yeah, sure. If it's gonna affect performance, I guess surely we should do that. Um,
Because if you go back to your screen,
yeah.
I just don't see any point where we're going in the back end once, okay, and then coming out of the back end, going to the middle way, and then going again to the back end. Why not do everything in just one trip in the back end, and then have all the information that we need and at once come to the middle way?
But I guess that's where keeping the function independent comes in play as well. Why do we have two functions then for doing the same stuff? Like we have two functions, right? And then um, here as well, we anyway would some at some point we'll create a get board ID function.
Yeah.
So it's gonna come there, even if we don't create it now. So I was just thinking that if we split things up, so that these things get lowly coupled, so that even if one of these functions break, um, it doesn't kind of affect the other get board ID and other functionalities. What do you think? I mean, it's pretty much the same stuff, though. It's not really. Do you think it's making a huge difference? I mean, I'm happy to do it the way you're saying though. Like, it's pretty much the same.
No, no. So what I'm actually trying to indicate
Yep.
that say you want. Okay, l- let me put it this way.
All right.
You wanna get KFC, okay, and then you also wanna get McDonald's,
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
So you go from your home, okay, get KFC,
Mm-hmm.
come back home, drop the KFC, go back again to McDonald's, and then come back home again. Is that efficient? Or if you go from your home, get KFC, get McDonald's, and then come back home straight?
All right. So you're doing this, getting this. But if you meet an accident on the way while getting, while like, let's say KFC was burning down, then
Yeah.
you don't even get McDonald's. So it comes down to which type of design we want to prefer. Do we want to lowly couple it in the sense that even if
Why
KFC is, yeah,
why wouldn't we be able to get the McDonald's if KFC
because
is
the
broken down?
because the program will stop if KFC is broken down. It's not that it's gonna skip the code lines.
So you're saying that if we connect the travel between the KFC and McDonald's,
I'm getting hungry. I'm
then
getting hungry. Can we stop?
okay, let's take something else because I just don't
Yeah,
see the point of
yeah. No, I mean, I feel like it's pretty much the same. If you strongly feel that we should do it that way, then I mean, like, I'm really happy to do that. Like, I mean, it's not gonna make any difference though. Like, we are anyway gonna create a get board ID in at some point of the
hmm
future. So
yeah.
if you think that that's a way better option, then I don't have any like I am just 5149. So we should go ahead and do what you are saying.
It's okay. If you go back to the diagram,
Yeah,
um, so in your thoughts, the only reason why you've got that one line from get board ID to get board ID board ID in the middle way is because if one of the functions breaks down, then the application is still running, is it?
yeah, and also because you know how at some point in this code we're gonna create a get board ID function in the middleware separately. Like this is gonna come
Yeah. Uh-huh.
even if
Uh-huh.
not now. So
Yeah.
that means even if we are doing a get board, we are having a redundant code that this function is doing the same thing which is being done here. You know what I mean? If you just exclude all of this, like this is kind of what you're saying, right? Like
hmm
if we just work with these two, but even if this is going here and doing stuff, this is here, there is a piece of code which is getting the board ID, which can rather be done with this, which is gonna come up eventually in this code. So it's just causing a bit of redundancy that
I think
uh,
I know where the problem is,
yeah,
and I might have not been able to explain myself properly. I'll
right.
rephrase it. So you know how you have got the Gabboard ID in the middle where that's
Yeah,
taking nothing.
get yeah, yeah, yeah. No, that's being called from the front end.
Yeah, so that's in the front end, isn't it?
That's like being called from the front end. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's in the but here it's in the middleware.
I mean, like front end's gonna like on click. This is gonna be called or something like that.
Okay, yeah, yeah, that's
I feel like it's
okay.
fine. Zen, I think we should just go ahead and kind of change this diagram to what you're saying because it's
I know what I mean is
yeah,
not about me or you. It's about doing
yeah,
the right thing, and I'm just trying to understand where you're coming from as well.
right. No,
Mm-hmm.
I was just thinking about code redundancy and independence, but I feel like I also feel like performance is more important when it comes to high level apps. So I was thinking more. I'm thinking more because I do Java, right? So when we do Java, these things come a lot in play, like low coupling, high cohesion stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
uh, I think when we are dealing with APIs and a bit of middleware, we can have a bit of redundant code rather than visiting the database twice. So I do get your point though, and it's
But
completely valid.
I get your point as well. I'm just actually trying to understand that, as in, what am I not understanding that you're understanding? Because that might be more efficient in terms of performance as well, and
Yeah,
low, low, low coupling.
yeah, yeah,
That's where I'm at.
right. It's just about I guess like you know how we're gonna go to the get board, like even if we delete this, right. Even if we have these two functions, we're gonna go to get board, right?
Yeah.
And we're gonna have a piece of code which is gonna go to the database and search for the board with the ID. Sorry, right. We'll
So
have the name. We'll have the name. Sorry, I'm getting sorry for that.
I
We'll
don't
have the
think we.
yep.
I think we can just have these two methods.
Okay.
Okay, and why I'm saying is because you know how we are putting in the board name
Yep.
in the API in the front end, and
Yep.
then we can return from that function. We can return the board ID and pass it to the backend, and board the backend board. And do you get what I mean?
We'll have the
Until now.
name, and you wanna get the board ID, right?
Yes, so in the
Or
front end, we
yeah.
can create a function
Yep.
that takes in the board name
Right.
and returns a board ID.
Okay. But the board ID is in the database.
That's for my next thing was that we can pass the board name to
The
the
backend,
function,
which
uh, to the backend, and
so that's
from
exactly what
that,
I'm doing.
yeah, yeah.
So that's literally what we are trying to do, right? Like go and get the board name and then do stuff. I guess is that what you're saying, or is it something else?
Hang on a minute. Uh, we are taking get board ID. No, if you change the function name
Which one?
of the mm, of the middleware, uh, the bottom one, which it says Gabboard I. No. Sorry, my bad. I'm. I think I'm
Do you know
confusing
college and night?
us
Do you know
both now.
college? Do you know college and
Yeah,
night?
probably.
That's all good.
Yeah.
If you get some sleep, then
Yeah. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was confusing us both. Let's just
that's
leave it here, and
yeah.
we
We'll come
can
back to it.
take it off from there.
Yeah, I mean, good design is really important as well. And I guess this was a good discussion for sure. I mean, both of our things were pretty much making sense. It's just that
Mm, yeah,
what do we want to do in the long term, or like which one's more efficient? So,
exactly. And you will make some valid points as well.
mhm.
I had some valid points too.
Yeah,
I think it's just a matter of a little bit more discussion, and we will reach to a conclusion. Because
yeah,
I really want to be satisfied with what you're thinking, and you have to be
yeah,
satisfied
yeah,
what's on my mind. So it's a mutual thing.
for sure. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool.
Um, it was a good day. We got to know that we finished the Fetch API stuff. I mean, at least we got the post working. So tomorrow we're just gonna start working on this, and probably now we know how Fetch APIs work. So probably maybe finish one function
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
make it work as well. So cool. See you guys tomorrow. You have to anything add in?
Sounds good. Now it's been a great discussion, and we will hopefully start the implementation of the new feature
Yeah.
tomorrow as well. And yeah, we'll
You can add your
see you.
classic line.
We'll s- I was just going to
Right.
we'll see you tomorrow night, same time,
Place. Same place.
same place, and a different task.
All right. Cool. See you tomorrow. Cheers.
Alright, guys. Have a good night. Cheers. Bye.